friends, Diane Bruder. This is part 2 of how to design hoop earrings in Design Space using shapes. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk you through what settings to use, show you how to put things on the mat, and cutting them out and putting them together. So I hope you enjoy this part. Thank you. Before we go to Design Space and cut out our earrings, let's talk about the types of materials that you can use in your Cricut machine and what types of settings, how you put them on the mat, all those kind of things. The first thing I want to do is I want to talk to you about Cricut brand foul leather. Now, this is really nice stuff, and I'm not saying that, I'm not being paid by Cricut to say it. You can use this in either an Explorer or a Maker with a fine point blade, and you can get all the little intricate cuts you want, not just cutting out the shapes. You can get the holes consistently. Nice stuff. Okay, so this is the front. You can see it's got a little bit of a pebbled look to it, very paper thin. The back's just a little bit felty, but not so felty that you're going to have a hard time getting the blade through it. Again, fine point blade. All right. Next thing I want to talk to you about is Cricut foul suede. This is what I'm going to use for today's project. For the top part of the earring that's red, and really nice, feels like real suede, paper thin, okay? And the back side's not too felty, so it cuts really nice also with a fine point blade. So you can use it in Explore or you can use it in Maker. So we're going to use that today so everybody can go, yay, I can use this. What I'm going to use for the bottom part of my earrings is this foul leather. Now, I got this in Etsy. I got it in, I think it's called Cute Jewelry Supplies. They sell findings and they sell leathers. This is what I got, and I really, really like it. A little bit thicker than Cricut's foul leather. The backside's a little bit more like felt. So when we go to settings, we're going to want to choose felt acrylic, because we're more concerned about cutting through this. This part's really easy to cut through. This is the part that's going to get you caught up every time. So we always choose for the back, and it cuts to the front just fine. So we'll talk about how to put this on a mat too. Before I get to that, I want to talk to Explore people, because they're like, oh, you get to use a rotary blade and I don't, and you get to use all the patterns and everything. I want to talk to you about another type of material. I mean, Cricut makes some great foul leather and foul suede if you want a solid color. But if you want some patterns, head over to Etsy shop, Beans and Peanuts, and get their cork material. Now, this is called a spattered rainbow, but I've got all different kinds, and you will really love this. It cuts exactly like Cricut foul leather. Look how thin, super thin. The back is not too, it's very much like Cricut foul leather. It's not too, felty. It's almost more like a canvas, but you can put this face down just like you do your Cricut foul leather, and you can cut it with a fine point blade. I usually like to add a little more pressure than just default, but again, it's up to you. You can do this right on a green mat. So it stays in place nice, it cuts really nice, and if you use it with, the foul leather for some design, it's really kind of cool. So, there are materials out there, if you have an Explorer, that you can use. And as I find more of those, I'll try to share those with you. But I do have a friend that cut this on Explorer, so I'm not just guessing. And she said it cut with a fine point blade. So hopefully that'll make you people that are Explorer Air 2 or Explorer Air users happy. So there are things out there that have patterns that you can cut. So I'm hoping you'll find that an exciting thing like I do too. All right, so let's take ourselves to Cricut Design Space one more time. I'm going to show you the settings for both the foul suede and for the foul leather that I'm using. Okay, that's a non-Cricut type of foul leather. All right, so we're going to stop for right now, and then we're going to go and cut things out. We are in Design Space, and we're ready to make our project. So we're going to come up here to Make It. And it's sorting our project into mats. The top part, the first part, we're going to come back to in a minute. This is the bottom part of the hoop earring. Let's jump over to this part 2 here first. This is the part we're going to cut out of Cricut foul suede. So in order to do that, let's hit continue. And the machine is looking for my maker. I've got Bluetooth on. And we're going to set our material for the faux leather. And what we're going to do is we're going to browse materials. Actually, it's faux suede. We're just going to type in the word S-U-E-D-E, suede. Now, we're going to choose the Cricut brand, and we know that because there's a C here. So you would hit this, and then you would hit done, and it would be ready to cut. Let's just do that for a second. You can see you have a fine point blade to cut that. All right, we're going to get out of there for right now, and I'm going to show you what to do with part 1. So again, we have our maker. We are going to go set it to a different brand so you can see what to do, because we're not cutting that out of faux suede. Remember, we're cutting that out of the faux material we got on the Etsy shop, Cute Jewelry Supplies. We're going to come here and we are going to type in, believe it or not, F-E-L-T, felt. And you can see there are all different kinds of felt. We're going to choose felt acrylic fabric and hit done. Now you'll notice it comes with the rotary blade. This is for people with a maker. You could try to put this on a different setting. I'm not sure what the setting is, but I know you can cut this with a deep point blade, so you might want to try, let me try something different here. You might, I think the best thing you might want to come over to for deep point blade, let's just go leather. And let's go genuine leather. Deep point blade. So that's what I would set it for if you're going to use that type of material, whether it's Hobby Lobby or you get that type of material that I got from Cute Jewelry Supplies. That's what I would do. And you can always set it to more pressure if you want. I would not use a green mat for that. I would use a purple mat. And I would use transfer tape, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute, because that's what I'm going to do when I cut it out, even with my maker, when I cut it out with the rotary blade. All right, so let's go cut some stuff, shall we? So I have Cricut brand faux suede and a green mat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it face down. Not this, you don't want the felty side on here. It'll really take the sticky off your mat, but you want to put it face down, the good side down on your mat. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to take Cricut transfer tape and I'm going to attach it to the fuzzy side, this material on this fuzzy side. And then what I'm going to do is attach it to this mat. So watch carefully. Now I have a piece cut approximately the size of this. I'm going to take my transfer tape. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it right down on the fuzzy side of the mat. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is take this part, now it's like a transfer tape, but the sticky side is on the fuzzy side. I'm going to take this side and put it flat down on my mat. Yes, that means you are going to have, this side's not going to be down against the mat, it's going to be up where you can see it. All right? And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to cover this with masking tape, or I like to use painter's tape because it comes off of my mat a lot easier. And don't worry about you know, it might cut over some of the tape. Don't worry about that, because it will actually not bother it at all. It'll just cut right through that. So I don't worry. I put this down just like I would wood or anything of that nature, because I just don't like to chance anything moving. It probably won't with the transfer tape. Oops. Let me get it on there, actually. That'd be really nice. It probably won't with the transfer tape, but I just like to be careful and make sure everything's down nice and tight. There are no air bubbles, and everything feels nice and good. Okay, now it's time to put your earring together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your bottom piece, your top piece, hook them together, and then one of these things is a little earring wire, and I'll hang that on the top of this. The way we do that is with jump rings, and I've chosen really small ones. Okay, and the tools that you use are flat nose pliers and round nose pliers. So what I do is I come over and I take a flat nose pliers and I hold the jump ring in one end. Then I take the round nose and you just flick your wrist and turn it, okay, just to open it a little bit. Let me hold that a little better. And you just turn it. Now if you look here, you can see that I've turned it. You always want to flick the wrist to open the jumper. You don't want to ever pull them apart because then you distort them and they don't look nice when you put them back together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ring and I'm going to put it through so that it's hanging like that. Now I have a piece right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to attach it so it stays to the front. It's going to hang down backwards for right now. Then I'm going to take my flat nose and I'm going to hold it, and with the other one I'm going to take my wrist and I'm going to flick it back the other direction. And sometimes it's a little more difficult when you've got really little ones, but it's just basically a flick of the wrist. So let me bring it back the other way. Okay. And there you have it, the first part of your earring. Now the next part, I'm going to take the same jump ring, or a different jump ring, I'm sorry, the same size jump ring. I'm going to get it in here, so I'm holding it nice and firm. I'm going to come over here, but it's opened. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it through so it's like this. Now the tricky part is putting this part, or the earring wire, on so that it doesn't, like, you don't want it this way where it's facing you. You want the earring wire to go back so it goes in your ear toward the back. So what I like to do is I like to put it facing off to my right, and I like to go like that. Then I come over here, grab it really close with those things again. See, I've got it. Good grip on it. Grab my other nose pliers, my round ones, and I turn it back. Now I have an earring, okay? And I could put this in my ear, and it's okay if they turn around. They're kind of fun. And there you have it, a nice earring. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, I took a couple different variations of pictures, and you can use this separately, this one here, or this one separately with different pieces of jewelries like earring connectors, and I'll show you a couple pictures here at the end. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to doing a lot more. One of my next videos is going to be about using cork, because that's something that a lot of people really like to do, and you can use it whether you're a Cricut Explorer owner or you're a Cricut maker. Okay, bye.